Coming up, in a matter of days, a popular vaping product may be illegal in North Dakota. We'll tell you what legal experts say vape shops should do. Businesses again boarding up their windows in Minneapolis as the fate of Derek Chauvin will soon be in the hands of the jury. Plus, our investigative team learns how people are getting away with not paying taxes. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
A new bill in North Dakota could bring serious trouble for those buying or selling THC. The bill is awaiting the governor's approval after a unanimous vote today from the Senate. Valley News Team's Courtney Locke explains what the bill will do and what it will mean for many vape shops and their customers.
For those buying and selling THC, a new bill on the governor's desk could mean trouble.
I don't think it should be a crime.
As a college student, Joe Steiner says he knows several people who vape THC, something that may soon be illegal in North Dakota.
Yeah, I've heard of it. A lot of my friends experiment with that kind of stuff.
The bill would ban Delta 8, 9, and 10, a product sold at gas stations and vape stores. It's also a product found in marijuana.
Years. Too many years.
But on a much, much smaller scale, according to Legalize ND Chairman Dave Owen.
The second the governor signs it, it becomes law, and it can become a huge problem.
Owen says the governor has 10 days to sign the bill. If he does, it would go into effect immediately, meaning anyone found buying or selling these kinds of THC could face hefty charges for possession of a controlled substance.
This is a very commonly bought and sold product, and I don't want someone to wake up one day and all of a sudden basically be in felony possession of a Schedule I substance.
Although no one wanted to go on camera, the vape shops we talked with say it's something they sell a lot of. None would comment on their plans if the bill is approved. However, they say it's been frustrating keeping up with all the changes in the recent years. Owen's advice?
Get rid of it. Yeah, maybe you have to get rid of $5,000 worth of inventory, but is $5,000 worth going to jail for 10, 15 years?
In Fargo, Courtney Locke, Valley News Live.
We're keeping an eye on the bill. At this time, the governor has not signed it into law. The state of North Dakota is trying to crack down on unemployment fraud after state officials say there's been a significant uptick in people not showing up for job interviews. One Fargo businesswoman says she's fallen victim to it several times within the last month.
Just the other day we had 13 interviews that were scheduled and only 2 showed up. And I would love to tell you that's a rare thing, but it's not right now.
North Dakota employers can now fill out and submit this form online 24/7. North Dakota Job Service officials say since the document went live yesterday, they have already received 75 reports. Officials say employers are not required to report no-shows, adding so far there's no correlation showing that those on unemployment are the ones not showing up for job interviews. If you need help uncovering an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 237-6576 and leave your tip and we'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. For the 5th straight night, protesters are gathered outside the Brooklyn Center Police Department. This is a live look at the protest. Today, dozens of protesters from Tuesday's demonstration were released from the Hennepin County Jail. So far, 4 officers have been injured and several more are in the process of filing injury reports. A candlelight vigil will be held in Fargo tomorrow night to honor Daunte Wright. It will begin at 7:30 at Island Park. Proceeds from the event will go to help those protesters in the Twin Cities area, going toward bail for those arrested and to buy them food and water. Testimony has wrapped on day 14 in the murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The prosecution calling back a key witness to the stand after the defense announced it is resting its case, and Derek Chauvin opting not to testify in his own defense. Camila Bernal is in Minneapolis with the latest.
We have blood gas evidence from Hennepin County that would contain blood gas readings for the carbon monoxide content in Mr. Floyd's blood.
The prosecution attempting to admit new lab evidence.
From the stand and the slide that Mr. Nelson prepared was the statement and the discussion that in 7 minutes Mr. Floyd's carboxyhemoglobin could have increased by 10 to 18%.
The defense pushing back, arguing that prosecutors knew of their witnesses' planned testimony since late February.
The state has had more than sufficient notice. Dr. Fowler is opining that this could have played a role in his report. He says and suggests that for completeness, it should have been tested or should be tested.
The judge not allowing these lab results to be admitted.
If he even hints that there are test results that the jury has not heard about, it's going to be a mistrial.
But he did allow pulmonologist Dr. Martin Tobin to return to the stand in rebuttal to dispute the carbon monoxide poisoning theory.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to whether this statement that Mr. Floyd's carboxyhemoglobin could have increased by 10 to 18% is reliable?
No, I believe it is not reliable.
In Minneapolis, Camila Bernal, Valley News Live.
Closing arguments will happen on Monday. The jury will receive instructions, and then the jury should have the case by late Monday. Former Vice President Mike Pence now has a pacemaker. Pence's office says it was successfully implanted yesterday. The pacemaker will help reduce a slow heart rate that the former vice president has experienced recently. Pence is expected to fully recover and return to normal activity in the next few days. Some Democrats are frustrated with President Biden for not increasing the annual cap on refugees entering the U.S. President Biden recently committed to allowing 62,500 refugees. In comparison, President Trump allowed 15,000. The Biden administration is also being criticized about the influx of migrants at the border, but that situation is separate from the refugee program. 4 congressional Democrats are announcing tomorrow that they'll introduce legislation to expand the size of the U.S. Supreme Court. Their proposal would expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 13 justices. The size of the court can be changed by an act of Congress. It has remained at 9 since 1869. But even before the lawmakers formally unveiled the bill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she has no intention of bringing it to the floor.
I support the president's commission to study such a proposal, but frankly, I'm not. Right now, we're back. Our members, our committees are working. We're building putting together the infrastructure bill and the rest. I don't know that that's a good idea or a bad idea.
The bill is an effort by progressives to blunt the impact of the current conservative majority on the court. North Dakota's controversial transgender sports bill made its way through the legislature. This afternoon, the state Senate passed the bill that would ban students from playing on sports teams that don't match the sex on their birth certificate. Those against the bill pointed to the harm it would do to transgender students and the discrimination it carries. Others argued it protects scholarships and opportunities for biological females. Other states have enacted the law while other governors have vetoed it. Now it's North Dakota's turn to decide, as Governor Doug Burgum will have the bill on his desk in the coming days. If you've gotten the Pfizer COVID vaccine, you'll likely need a 3rd dose within a year. The CEO of Pfizer says people are likely to need a booster dose of the vaccine 6 to 12 months after their first round. From there, it would be an annual revaccination. Officials are still testing the timing of follow-up vaccine doses. If you have any questions regarding COVID vaccines, you can use our VNL vaccine tracker to sort through them. It's on the homepage of our website. Or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up.
$15,000. I've had to take out loans to pay taxes off, which I'm still paying on now.
Still ahead tonight, the IRS has been writing off more and more tax debt. Our national investigative team looks at whose debt is going uncollected. But first, Nathan joins us with what's shaping up to be a pleasant weekend forecast. Stay with us.